You think yogis should not be married people? Yeah. That is not true. All our rishis were married, happy married people. Anyone remembers Patanjali's wife's name? Maybe the yoga teachers here can find that out, okay? Okay, there are few ways of looking at it. One would be Brahmani yo charanti iti brahmacharya, Brahma marge yo charanti. One is on the Brahma marga. One is on the spiritual path. Brahma is Veda here, the Vedika, who accepts the pramana of the Veda and follows it. Such a person is called brahmachari, okay, who is following the Veda marga, one way. But if you are looking at it literally and you want to look in terms of your sexual life and this thing, it is talking about a certain discipline into your sexuality. Yeah. Certain discipline into your sexual life, that's all it talks about. There is no excessive indulgence and you are not focused only on that. Sexuality is part of your life, like so many things is part of your life. Food, drink, entertainment, enjoyment, all this. Sex is also a part of your life. So don't keep that as the sole focus, either in terms of denial or in terms of enjoyment. Live a balanced life. That's all. Now there is a huge movement in the West which is fueled by Indian teachers about, for men especially, retaining your semen, how it gives you power, etc. There is some truth in that if you are interested in those type of pursuits. We call it viryam. If you are interested in those type of pursuits of certain siddhis, etc., etc., then that's a different thing. That's a different thing. Those are certain other disciplines coming in. But if you are talking it as universal, brahmacharya is living a disciplined life with all sensuous enjoyment. Food, drink, anything, a disciplined life. Nothing is prohibited, but everything is in discipline. Yeah. Live a disciplined life. Yeah. Brahmacharya. Aparigraha. Aparigraha. The translation is a bit poor. It says non-acceptance of gifts. Non-acceptance of gifts will be a problem. In your birthday, someone comes and gives you a gift, you are supposed to say no to that. Diwali gifting is common in our culture, no? So you mean to say our culture is against aparigraha? Wrong translation. The translator's problems. Okay. Parigraha means to hold on to things. To hold on to something from all sides. Aparigraha, I don't hold on to things. I recognize that nothing is solely mine. Aparigraha, I don't hold on. When good things come to me, I welcome it. Agate swagatam kuryat. When it comes, welcome it. Gachantam na nivarayet. When it goes, let it go. It will go. It's not going to last forever. But we hold on to things. You know, when I took sannyasa, my mother started staying with my sister. Made sense because once I leave the house, there's nobody at home, no company for my mom, and so sometimes whole day I'm out. So my sister said, I'm definitely going to take mom to mine. I said, okay, whatever both of you are happy with, I am happy with, fine. Because there were children, grandchildren, everything is there. So she'll have some life there. But she would come to visit for a few days. Then she'll be pottering in the kitchen. Arey, this ladle broke. I said, yeah, mom, it broke. I used it for 40 years and you broke it in 3 months. Correct. Because you broke it for 40 years, 40 years plus 3 months it broke. Parigraha, holding on to that. So I'll say, give it here. I'm going to put in all the junk and give it for, give it away. Raddi. No. This you don't give it. We all have this to some extent or the other. Parigraha, holding on to things. I'm exaggerating by giving the example of the ladle, but there are hundreds of things we hold on to. Like. That pair of jeans you have not worn for the last 10 years. And there is no realistic hope of getting back into it. Forget COVID weight that you have put on. That's understandable. Less exercise during COVID time, you have put on some weight and you will knock it off. That is okay, 2 years weight. But 10 years back you wore that and there is no realistic hope of getting back in. Why are you holding on to it? Parigraham. We all collect junk like this. We hold on to things in our head, ideas. Can't give up ideas. In face of new data, new revelations, new ideas. You're changing the narrative. New facts have emerged, new data has come up. Naturally the narrative will change. What do you think? Narrative is going to be constant or what? It is not the Vedas that's going to remain constant. It's only a narrative. It's bound to change. So holding on to ideas. I am a man of principles. I have held these values for the last 20 years of my life. So now time to let go. Time to let go. What about that? Aparigraha. Not holding on to things. Holding on to people. Same way. You know, great friends. Yeah, there were 3 of us, great friends. Now when we meet, we hardly have anything in common. You meet for old time's sake, have a cup of coffee together and go your separate ways. Okay. That much is nice. But anything more than that, let go. Sometimes people can be in your heart, but they cannot be in your life, okay? Let go. Sometimes people are there in your life, but they are not there in your heart. That's also okay. Let go. It's important. Freedom from the sense of ownership and possession. That this is mine, I am possessive about it. Not being possessive. You came into this world with nothing. You will go from this world with nothing. Except your samskaras, your learning, your punya papa, that's all you'll have. And you are sent here for some learning. The world is a tough school that can teach you a lot of good lessons. Learn those lessons, but be careful of your interpretations. Yeah. What doesn't work? What is not valid? Let go. Aparigraha. Don't hold on to things. Things, people, ideas, emotions. 20 years back he hurt me. Have you seen a retired couple fight? This happens generally when the lady has been generally a housewife, homemaker. Man is retired. By today's standards, retirement is still young. 58, 60, whatever. Still young. Now all the fights will start coming up because he's spending time at home, no? And she has been used to it, this is my domain. And the guy is interfering. And when the fight starts, the fight will start with when? You know, at the marriage time, your father did like this. Marriage was over long back. You have had kids. The kids have got married. What are you fighting about? What is the emotion you are holding on to? The anger and resentment of them. Is it worth it? Really? So parigraha has to extend to aparigraha, has to extend to all areas of life, okay? Not just one or two areas. Yeah. I know this happens when you live in hostels. You start nesting, na? If you are in a hostel for too long and you are occupying the same room for a couple of years, you start nesting. You know what is nesting, no? You start personalizing that whole space. It's okay if you are keeping some photograph on the table or something like that. No, this goes much more than that. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. Hey, but it's not permanent, it's a hostel. That's why when the ashram comes up, I'm going to change people's ashram, hostel rooms every 6 months or 1 year. You know? Because it happens with full-time students also. You start nesting. Forget it. Yeah. Aparigraha. Why? People get upset in the class if somebody else comes and sit on their seat. No? But I've been sitting here all the time. Swamiji, but I noticed one thing, you know. When Puja Swamiji used to give a talk, you'll always sit in that corner seat in the front row. Front or first or second row, corner seat. Yeah, I do. Isn't that also nesting? No. Why? That comes from my whole thinking about security, safety, etc. Why in that corner I have the maximum freedom of movement. If something goes wrong on the stage, something goes wrong elsewhere, I can act. So it comes from that. But what will go wrong? Oh, a lot of things can go wrong. Shanmukananda burned down in a program. So I know what can go wrong. That's why I had the habit of sitting there. Well, because I want to, if there is my guru on the stage. If anything goes wrong, I am meant to act. Nothing will happen to him as long as I am around. You're holding on to that idea? Yes. But he had a samadhi? Yes. Therefore I let go. You think you can stop samadhi? Therefore the value of aparigraha, right through it has to come in life. Only then it is valid. Okay? Not otherwise. Okay. Okay. Clear about the yamas? I'm sure they are clear. You have had the whole thing. You know? Yeah. Then niyamaha. Okay. Saucha santosha tapas swadhyaya ishvara pranidhanani niyamaha. Saucham antaram bahyam cha. Saucham, cleanliness. Outside we all know. We have got an overdose of it during the pandemic. Keep washing your hands, washing your hands, washing your hands. Videos about washing your hands. We are thinking by 2020 we will be colonizing the moon. And what are we doing? Making videos about washing hands. But some of the Indian values got respected. You wash your hands and legs before you come into the house, etc., etc. Saucham, fine, all right. External, we all know. In fact, we live very hygienic lives. Even our toilets, bathrooms, etc., spick and span as though they are a room. We do that. So the main focus here is antara saucham. inside. Okay. What is the antara saucham? Your hurt, pain, guilt, etc. You can live 20, 30 years without carrying a baggage of hurt and pain and guilt and things like that. They are natural because you are human. Life is like that. Therefore, process those emotions, take care of them. Take care of them. Whatever you need to do in terms of psychological work in taking care of these, do that. The psychological process is very healthy because your spiritual growth is based on your psychological growth. If you have too much of psychological baggage and you expect Vedanta will do the trick, it will not. Therefore, saucham, antara saucham necessary. Whatever you need to do, including therapy if you need therapy. If you need therapy, fine. Yeah?
Sorry to interrupt, Swamiji, but I remembered something you had said about this, which was very funny, which was the allopathy, homeopathy, sympathy.
Beg your pardon, you?
I remembered when you were speaking about this much earlier in the
Yeah.
as you had mentioned allopathy, homeopathy, sympathy, whatever works.
Yeah, whatever works, correct. Do whatever works, yeah.
Swami, just a question.
Yeah.
So actually the ahamkara trying to pacify itself by taking therapy and all those things?
It doesn't matter. Is the ahankara that comes to study Vedanta also, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, so it's okay. You don't have to make it, yeah. See, too much digging into the past is also not healthy. At the same time, not looking into the past is also not healthy. Yeah. Sometimes you have to look into the past to get the freedom at the present. Yeah. Yeah. Therefore, that saucham part is very important. Take care of your psychological pain, your hurt, your guilt. Yeah. All these things. Yeah. You can't avoid living a life without all this, Yeah.
Swamiji, the therapists, they go deep down into the past too.
Beg your pardon?
They dig the grave.
Sorry, you're not loud enough for me.
Usually the psychologists and psychotherapists,
Yeah.
they all dig the graves only. They dig too much into the past.
Too much is not a healthy thing. Some amount of it is necessary. Don't overdo it. If you can't deal with it yourself, seek help of a friend, etc. Someone older, wiser, etc. If you can't, it's not enough, then either go to a teacher and do it or go to a therapist and do it. Teacher means a spiritual teacher, okay? Or a therapist and do it. Yeah. So it is necessary to do whatever is necessary to heal. The psychological healing is necessary. The focus is on healing. The focus is not understanding why it happened, how it happened, etc. The focus of how and why, which you are digging into the past, is only to understand what exactly happened to you and how to get freedom from that. So you can go on digging endlessly. I feel like this because my mother dealt with me like this. Then why did she deal with that? Because how long are you going to dig? You'll go back to Ishvara then. Recognize Ishvara's order. When these things happen, pain, etc. is natural. Now what should I be doing to get out of it? Focus on that. Yeah. Naturally, if somebody humiliates you, you will feel upset. You may have been a child, but you felt upset. And you are carrying that upset feeling, that feeling of humiliation. You have to deal with it. There's a huge difference between dealing with it and building it up, You have to understand this difference also. Like, I was dealing with a therapist, okay? And as part of dealing with the therapist, I said, what is the anger in you? I asked her. Because You can make these things out. So, no, I am very angry with my father. And she described some events when she was a schoolgirl. When I was helping her with this, she was around 40-year-old, okay? And all these incidents that she described as schoolgirl, I said, okay. So all these things, what he did was wrong, accepted. After that, was he supportive in life? Oh yeah, very supportive. He sent me abroad to study. He took care of this, he took care of that. Even now, okay, he is getting old. And before, he doesn't want to leave the load to me. So he's changing all the wiring in the house, this, that, etc. I said, wow, he's playing such a supportive role to you. I said, yes. I said, then the anger that happened when you were in school, isn't it time to let go of it? No, I want to be angry for some more time. 30 years you have been angry about it. How much more time do you want? Tell me. 30 years you have been angry. And believe me, those incidences are very, very simple. They must have been telling on the child, I don't deny that. But this is not acknowledging or owning up the hurt. This is building up. Building up. It's not validation, this is building up. Don't do that. Don't build up. A simple statement. No, my parents were young. They didn't have the knowledge and wisdom about parenting. Nobody taught them how to parent. Therefore, they struggled and learned, and in the process, they made mistakes, and I got hurt. Forgiven, just let go. Bose ho gaya yaar. ठीक है ना? They didn't know. They were idiotic in that. Correct. Even that much is enough to let go, no? But there should have been some parenting. Our culture didn't take care of it. You moved away from the culture, what can I do about it? You moved away from joint families. Joint families, some validation is always available. Some empty lap is always there. Some uncle, aunt, someone, grandparent, someone will take care of your hurt. You moved away from that. I am not advocating a joint family. I am just saying the advantage that was there. So now you moved away, and then you are blaming culture now. Then you will blame civilization. Then you will blame the British Empire. Then you will blame God knows what. Where are you growing out of it? Then you will blame Kali Yuga. Where all this happens in Kali Yuga only. Rama should have felt betrayed in Treta Yuga when he was sent to the forest. Nobody talks about that. I attended a Jungian conference once. The psychological process I am very aware of. I attended this Jungian conference. Carl Jung and his this thing. So the lady said, I am going to put Rama on the couch and analyze him. So I heard her nonsense for some time. After that I asked her, you are saying all this about Rama. Are these the descriptions of what Rama was that is available in the Valmiki, or your projections on Rama? Because you think if this was done, he should feel like that. You have made a code that if this happens, you should feel like that. This happens, is that what you are doing? Or have you read the original Valmiki to say this was Rama's reactions? No, I have not read the original. Then I said, and what business you have to do something like this? You are insulting to our culture, I said. Pin drop silence in the hall, okay? True, no? You are making your projections. I said, this is classical case of Jungian projections, I said. Your unconscious is projecting into all this. For that you have to examine what has happened in your childhood that is making you do this. that you are picking up an icon, a Hindu icon to do this. So what is there in your subconscious? Should I put you on the mat now? Or on the couch? What should I do? I put you on the mat already. No, Swamiji, let us go ahead. I said, yeah, let us go ahead. Forget this Rama business. Yeah, it happens. By the way, this was about 20 years back, okay? Yeah. Therefore, we are not talking about digging like that, but we are definitely talking about the psychological validity, the validity of the psychological process to deal with your pain and this. That's important. This is part of our culture. Our art, music, dance, etc. took care of this. So now you may need some certain modern help, which is fine, perfectly fine. Deal with it. Okay. Shaucham, Santosha, a natural positive cheerfulness in life. Swamiji, how can you be cheerful? What is happening in Sri Lanka? What is happening in Ukraine? How can you be cheerful? Okay. So I will be sad at what's happening in Sri Lanka and Ukraine. Will that solve the problem? Cheerfulness is not dismissing a problem. Cheerfulness is accepting the problem, see what I can do about it with a positive outlook, with an hopeful outlook, with a realistic outlook, not getting bogged down by the difficulty of the situation or the pain of the situation. Santosha. Okay, cheerful mind. Yeah. Things will go wrong, of course they will go wrong. It's life. Things will go wrong. Those who were cheerful handled the pandemic much better than those who couldn't be cheerful. Those who couldn't be cheerful in the pandemic, they went down with psychological issues. Those who were cheerful could help others also along with it. Yeah. Nobody is denying the pandemic. Oh, I'm cheerful. Pandemic and all doesn't happen. Of course, it will affect you. But in spite of that, can you have a positive outlook in life? Can you have a hopeful outlook? Can you have a solution-oriented outlook? Santosha. Okay, yeah. And of course, this is a natural result of Karma Yoga Buddhi. Acceptance of Ishvara's order into your life, etc. Okay, Santosha. Swadhyaya. Your regular study, self-study, or study with people. How many classes can you attend anyway? 1 or 2 a week, no? Working people, busy with your lives. But some amount for some self-study, because to analyze what you have learned is very, very important. You know, I learned under a great teacher called Swami Taranandagiri, great scholar and teacher. So he used to say this, Maharaji, these 2 people came and studied with you? Yeah, they studied. They could study. What about the other character who came that time? हाँ, वो तो सुन के गया. Says he listened and he went away. It didn't get integrated into him. Swadhyaya is that which helps you integrate what you have heard. So to reflect upon what you have heard, etc., important. Swadhyaya. Your own intellectual exercise, your study, etc. Okay, Swadhyaya. In olden times, it also included your chanting of your own branch of the Veda, etc. Swadhyaya included that. Vedic chanting. Everyone learns the Vedic chanting. It has got a great effect on your brain, the chanting. So people learned that. So it included that as well. Okay, Swadhyaya.
What about austerity?
What about?
Austerity.
Sorry,
Austerity.
sorry, I am a bit hard of hearing. What is that word?
He's talking about tapaha.
Talking about
Tapaha, tapas.
No, austerity.
austerities.
Tapas, tapaha.
Tapas. The tapas will come later.
Tapas.
Yeah. Tapas, etc. will come later. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Santosha, Swadhyaya. I know I skipped tapa. Let us deal with Swadhyaya. I'll come back to tapa. Okay. So that self-study, etc. becomes important. Okay. Okay. Then tapaha, tapas. Now tapas is a huge area, depending upon what you want out of life. It can start with something, tapas as something small for your health. Fasting on Ekadashi or once a week fast. Tapas. Why? You're not comfortable to going without food, are you? The human system will keep demanding food every few hours. No? So, tapas. That's something simple for your health. It is even better for your mind. Why? You're learning to say no to yourself. So sometimes tapas is about saying no to yourself. Sometimes tapas is about saying yes to a discipline. Do pranayamas for 1 hour. Lot of tapas is involved. Literally. Why? Because the heat in your body will go up. Tapas. I'm not joking. If you do pranayama properly with the bandhas and all for 1 hour, okay, you will have to do a lot of cooling systems for it. Tapas. Yeah. Tapas. As far as Vedanta is concerned, tapas would be something like step out of your comfort zones. We get cocooned in our own comfort zones. This is me, this is my life. Like all of us have got cocooned into doing things from home the last 2 years. So there is a great hesitation to step out. Great hesitation. Look at your own minds. Most of us hesitate to travel on a regular basis. Even if you have to travel, you'll say, can I do without it? I'm not talking about the practical things. I'm talking about what's happening in your mind. You have got into a rut. It's a nice, comfortable rut, but you have got into a rut. Step out of that. Step out of your comfort zones. Tapas is about that. Say yes to different things in life that you would not normally be doing. Step out of it. Go on a yatra. Go to Badri Kedar. Yatra. And don't carry your khakaras with you. Don't carry food or a cook. Yeah, people do that. They send the cook and the team in advance and they make food and you go afterward. Why you want your home food there? Now why are you going to Badri Kedar? Swamiji, I am a vegetarian. All along you will get only vegetarian food. Except in 1 or 2 pockets that I know about, you will not get non-vegetarian food. You will get only non-vegetarian food only at Rudraprayag. Because there is an army cantonment there. Nowhere else will you get non-vegetarian food. So don't worry. It's only vegetarian food. So what's your problem? समझिए घर जैसा खाना नहीं है ना, नहीं है. So eat it. Simple tapas. It's a small thing but goes a long way, I'm telling you, in turning your mind. Like once I remember I was going to Yamunotri. Those days the facilities to go to Yamunotri was very poor. So before going we stopped at a place for lunch before we start walking. Okay. So and this was a group from South India that came. From Chennai actually. So I told them, you will get rice here but please don't eat the rice. It is cooked North Indian style, where they say you after the cooked rice you have to take it and put it onto a plate. Take a handful. Each danas should be separate. Each grain of rice should be separate. And we are at a height, therefore it will not be cooked properly. It will be half cooked. But you know South Indian minds, how they are. If you see rice and roti, what will you take? So some of them ate that rice. I saw them. I said, hey, my job is to say, tapas will teach them. There will be tapas in one way or there will be tapas in another way. So most of them listened to me. In fact, barring for 2 of them, all others listened and ate rotis. Good tapas. They were all comfortable on the walking. But after a couple of hours, the 2 guys who had eaten rice says, Swamiji, is there a bathroom available here? I said, the great outdoors, we are walking through a jungle. What do you expect? Bathroom there? How can we go out here? I said, that tapas you avoided, this tapas you are forced to. Something that you would never do. That tapas was simpler, eating roti. This tapas is more difficult. Yatras are good tapas because they teach you like this. They will teach you in various ways. But Swamiji, what about water, etc.? Water, no problems. You are carrying your water bottles. Oh, water bottle I have to use? Yeah, you need water, no? The only thing available is a water bottle. We are in the jungle, okay? No toilet paper is available. Leaves are available if you want. Then empty the bottle and I will show you where to fill it up. We will pass a stream on the way where the water will be healthy and clean. I will show it to you. You can use it there. Fill it again. Wash your bottle and heal it again. So either tapas one way or tapas the other way around. Okay, that's why yatras were kept. They had a very great role in our culture. Simple tapas came into the picture. Whatever you do, there is one thing the modern mind is very good at. Tapas as far as work is concerned. You are willing to slog to unhealthy levels. Okay. Yeah. There it will be hold back. That will be tapas. Don't run around like a headless chicken. Tapas swadhyaya Ishvara pranidhanani. Having an altar of surrender. Ishvara pranidhana is important. Surrender to Ishvara. Because that surrender is not only at the puja corner or your puja room. The surrender is in life. Where you recognize Ishvara's order at work. Karma, karma phala, the psychological order, the karmic order, everything. That brings a great sense of acceptance into your life. Therefore, Ishvara Arpanam, when you recognize the Ishvara's order, Ishvara Arpanam happens automatically with respect to what you are going to do. And with respect to the result, Prasada Buddhi. Ishvara Arpanam Prasada Buddhi. This is the result of worship. Therefore, until your worship has not fulfilled itself in this, your worship is wanting. And if in your worship has fulfilled into recognizing Ishvara's order, therefore Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, as far as the action is concerned, Prasada Buddhi with respect to the result is concerned, is there, then other worship can be minimalistic, just to keep in touch. Because this is the main thing. If you are really a bhakta, you will also become very courageous. Hey, God is with you, yaar. What do you have to? What do you have to fear? God is with you, no? Like Muhammad Ali used to say, God is in my corner, Shorty is in my corner. What do you have to fear? But if you are scared and you are afraid to do things, then where is your bhakti gone? A bhakta is not a scared, namby-pamby idiot. Bhakti is supposed to give you a strength, courage. Not making yourself a martyr, that's not what you're talking about. The word martyr itself I don't like. It's a very idiotic concept. Do you know the army refuses to use that term martyr? It's only Hindi film that say Shaheed ho gaya and all that stuff. You say he died fighting. He died with his boots on. He died for the country. That's it. Why there's courage there? You do what has to be done. Victorious, you'll enjoy the life. Dead, you get heaven. That's it. Veera Swarga. Karma phala is there. Why are you bothered about? Bhakti gives you that courage. Samji, I am devoted, I don't have that courage. Then I question your bhakti. Because your bhakti is dependent on your understanding of Ishvara. We have seen that. Remember the last camp? Those videos are up in the channel, okay? Those who want to see it. How your understanding of Ishvara depends upon your psychological growth. And the better your understanding of Ishvara, the more psychological growth you have. So with that psychological growth, courage is natural. What is there to be afraid of? Really, what is there to be afraid of? All fear comes from a sense of loss. Not only sense of loss, I can't handle that loss. That's where fear comes in. There is nothing you can't handle. God's grace, everything you can handle. Yeah. What is it that you can't handle with God's grace? We don't see it this way. If Ishvara Pranidhanam is meant to that, that sense of surrender to the Lord that you have is meant to give you these things. Can you see how all these yama niyamas, so many values that we have, helps you be a better student? Now imagine teaching yoga without these value structures. What will happen? It becomes another exercise form. Correct? In fact, that's what is being reduced to. That's what is being reduced. At the most, the religious aspect comes into it because you do some Om chanting before the class starts. And that also, that Om chanting is done in a pathetic manner. It becomes Aum, not Om. From where it became Aum, I don't know. Half-baked knowledge. And there, because of the Om chanting, you will find people coming to the class who don't want to do that Om chanting. Why do you want to come for yoga? Go to the gym then, na? I mean, really. Why do you want to come to yoga then? Go to the gym. You want health, na? There are 100 ways of remaining healthy. Yoga is one of the ways. Asana pranayama is one of the ways. There are 100 different ways of doing it. Why do you have to, I want to learn yoga without all that thing? Go to the gym, go for a walk, pick up some martial arts. There, if you say you don't want to do something, you will get whacked. Yeah. Yeah. Go for a Zumba class. Go for aerobics. Go for Pilates. Go for the Alexandra technique. Do Bhangra pop. I mean, you want health? No? I can go on and give you a whole list. No, but I want to learn yoga. Then take it completely. Why take it in bits and pieces? Yeah. Anyway. Any questions on Yama Niyama? I think is clear. I have a mature audience in front of me. I'm just bringing up some nuances so that things are clear. Okay. Then what about asanas? Karacharanadi samsthana vishesha lakshanani padma swastikadani asanani. He takes care of it in one line. Karacharanadi, placing hands, feet, etc. Vishesha lakshana, in special positions, is called asana, Padma, like Padmasana, Swastikasana, etc. It's called asana. Like somebody said, you can sit down simply. But if you go to the yoga, this thing, they'll make you sit in a complicated matter and call it yoga. I sit on the ground simple, baith gaya. No, you should sit in Padmasana, you make it difficult. You tie up your legs into knots. I'm joking. Each asana has a purpose behind it, okay? See, asana is not simple exercise. They work on your ligaments and your energy channels. Okay? So, and your internal organs. Like in some asanas, some internal organs are contracted. In the opposite side will be stretched out. And then you put it on the other side, that side will be contracted, the other previous side will be stretched out. So these things help your internal health. Your ligaments, it works on your ligaments. Gym works on your muscles more than your ligaments. Yoga works more on your ligaments. Therefore, you can become very strong with yoga. And it increases your bioelectrical energy in your system, thus granting you better health. It doesn't expend calories unless you are going to do some calorie extending work like Surya Namaskara, etc. Why? Because it is not meant to expend calories. Sadhus did these things. Sadhus did this form of exercise. As it is, sadhus are eating only twice a day, 2 meals a day. Then you do exercise that you expends more energy, kya ho jayega? They will disappear. So they had to need a system of exercise that was not going to expend that much of energy. At the same time, maintain health. The tone of the ligaments, muscles, etc. And this thing. So that worked. That type of exercising worked. Building up your bioelectrical energy. Giving a good massage to your internal organs. Like simple. Do an Ardha Matsya Indriyasa on one left side. You will find the legs, the spleen is contracted, your liver is stretched. You reverse it on the other side, your liver is contracted, squeezed out, and the spleen is stretched. So in that stretching and contraction, all the toxins, etc., in that are relieved. Internal organs health is maintained. Similarly, your intestine, they are all different exercise for it. Yeah. That way. So it is a system. Does it work on the mind? Yes. The base for meditation is put in the asana practice. Yama Niyama also has it because you are living a conflict-free life. No conflicts, you are straightforward, etc. Therefore, conflicts are less in your life. Prasada Buddhi, Ishvara Buddhi, Arpana Buddhi is there, therefore conflicts are less. Worry, anxiety is less. Then what do you do in an asana? You watch the position. What are the feelings that you are getting? You are supposed to witness them. Therefore, Sakshi Bhava starts right there. Witnessing meditation starts right there in the asanas. Maybe in a camp or something, I should do one yoga lesson where I'll make you do an asana for 20 minutes. One asana. You see how your ligaments and all will develop then. Yeah. Try to hold that Vrikshasana for 20 minutes and see how you feel. Simple pose, no? Don't start with 20 minutes, start with 3 to 5 minutes, okay? Don't start with 20 minutes. The yoga practitioners here, don't start with 20 minutes. And forward bending and holding poses, be careful. When you do it that long, your back can go into a spasm. But Virasana, etc. You can try for 20 minutes. Both अच्छा रहेगा. Then you will really become a warrior in your thinking and physically also. Your leg muscles and stigments will be strong. That's why it is called Virasana. By going into Virasana pose and holding it for half a minute, you don't become a warrior. The whole idea of how you develop your muscles and ligaments are different. You develop phenomenal amount of strength without bulk. Because too much of bulk is not healthy. There's load on the heart and you're carrying around that bulk. Martial arts is the same. We won't find martial artists are not bulky people. Now, depending upon their height, weight, etc., there will be some who are more muscular, some who are less muscular, but they are not bulky people. But strength, etc., is there. Phenomenal amount of power is there. That power comes from these type of exercising, and also from the next practice, your pranayama practice, because this is too supposed to take care of your body in such a way that you are free from illness, etc., and your mind is available for learning. Plus, the base of meditation is laid there. Then what? Rechaka, Purvaka, Kumbhaka Lakshanaha, Prana Nigraha Upaya, Pranayama. So, what is pranayama? Pranayama is control of your prana. What is prana? Not breath, but your energy. But you control your energy using your breath. What is that? Rechaka, Purvaka, Kumbhaka Lakshanaha. Rechakaha, exhalation. Purakaha, inhalation. Kumbhakaha, holding. If it is after Purakaha, then Kumbhaka is holding that breath inside. If it is after Rechaka, after exhalation, it is suspension of breath. In fact, you can train the whole body to be breathing, not just from your lungs, if you do these practices well. You can learn to function with lesser oxygen. You know, in advanced levels of martial arts, like what I practice, we do a Rechaka, complete exhalation. No oxygen in your system now, except what is stored. Then do 20 push-ups. Do 20 push-ups, yeah. 20 push-ups is easy, people can do 20 push-ups. But do it with Rechaka, exhalation and no breathing in. Maja aayega. But be careful when you are experimenting with these systems. Be sure you have someone to guide you through it, okay? I am saying all this, but I am also sounding a caution. Be careful that you have someone to guide you. If you want to experiment with something, next camp, those who want to experiment can come to me and we will experiment all this. Next camp will be in August and it will be, God willing, live, offline, not online. Therefore, all these prana nigraha upaya, mastery of the prana. Mastery of the prana is of again two functions. One is to about your health, keeping your health, and the other is about mastering your mind. You suspend your breath, okay, in exhale, and hold for half a minute. You're developing your mind, your willpower, isn't it? Your willpower is being developed, but subtle willpower. Your subtle will is being developed. You're breathed in full. You're compressing everything. Now hold it. Hold. You can talk and still hold. Keep holding. And keep talking also if you want to. It's a little of an art. So it's a little bit of an art. Okay, it's a little bit of an art, but if you can do that, it will work well with your system. And you master the. I hope all of you can hear me and see me, right? Can anyone acknowledge? Okay. Okay, maybe because the connection is poor, but it is time to anyway call it a day. So, about pranayama, it holds the mind, it masters the mind as well, helps you master your mind, quieten your mind, etc. So, all these details, some of the more details, we can see in next class, already 12:30. Okay, let's call it a day. Om. Take care.